Hello everyone and welcome again to another edition of SQL Server 2022 Tips and Tricks. In today's installment I'm going to show you how you can easily install a feature that is called reporting services. This is one of the basic features of SQL Server that most people use, and we're going to configure those reporting services to use HTTPS. So I'm going to use a self-signed certificate for this presentation because I don't have a certificate that I bought especially for the name. So I'm just gonna configure it with a self-signed certificate. For that I'm gonna use a script to generate the certificate and to export it. And let's start for now with actually creating the certificate. So I'm gonna run PowerShell with admin privileges. So here's the script. As you can see, you need to change basically two variables here, or three variables. You need to change the name, so that's the CNAME. So bear in mind that you need to have this name in your DNS. So my name is just gonna be SQL. Certificate password, of course. I just keep it nice and simple here. You can of course change it. And the main path for the PFX file, so our certificate is going to be exported to, and then it's going to be imported into import the PFX certificate into the root store. So it's going to be first it's going to be exported to the file, which this is the file, and then it's going to be imported into the root store on your local machine, of course, that is hosting SQL Server and reporting services. So you need to actually create a folder that is called temp on C drive, which I'm gonna do right now. Otherwise this script is not gonna work properly. Okay, so now we can actually run the script. Everything went without any problems. Certificate has been exported successfully. We can check it out just by using MMC. Just gonna go to Snap and I'm gonna go to certificates, computer account certificates, trusted root certificates, and here we have our SQL certificate issued to SQL by SQL, right, with the private key. So here are the details, and certificate is okay, so everything is fine. So now we need to actually install reporting services. So how to do it in SQL Server 2022. So if we go to our setup, as you can see, we have here install SQL Server's reporting services. We're gonna go here. Takes us to the web page. Here we have download, so we're gonna download the reporting services. I'm gonna close it for now. This as well. Okay, so now we can run the MSI package, and here we go, install reporting services. I'm gonna use evaluation because this is a evaluation version product. If you have a licensed CD key, you can input it here. Okay, I'm gonna accept the terms, install, and I'm gonna choose the default location. And now I'm gonna configure report services. So I'm gonna close this. We're gonna go here, and here we have our SQL instance name, which is SQL report server instance, which is SSRS. I'm gonna connect to it, and here we go. Now we're gonna go through the configuration of SSRS. So first of all, a servicing account. So I'm gonna choose the built-in account that we have here. We can change it, and we can use another account if you are in the domain, or if you are not in the domain, you have a local account. You can just use the local account here, but I'm gonna go for now with the built-in account. Web service. So here we have our directory, which is a report server. Of course, now we have only TCP IP on port 80, but we want to use, of course, HTTPS. So since we have generated a certificate, we can choose the certificate from here. Mine is called, of course, SQL, and here we have our HTTPS that is going to be created. I'm going to apply it. Since our certificate is stored in a root store, there shouldn't be any problems, because you should be able to see your certificate immediately after starting the report server and configuration manager. Okay, one more very important thing here. Since I am hosting my DNS here, I need to actually add this IP address to the DNS, because otherwise I won't be able to use HTTPS properly. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. SQL. Okay. PTR record has been created as well. I'm just gonna refresh everything here, clear the cache, and I'm gonna restart everything here. Fine. Okay, everything here has been done. Now I'm gonna go for, since I need to change my DNS, so I'm gonna change it into the DNS of my DC, where I just added SQL. Okay, so now we're gonna configure database. So since we don't have a database, we're gonna create, it's gonna create both two databases here. So server name, of course, our SQL. Current user, I'm gonna test the connection's fine. So it's gonna create database name report server and a temp database, so tempdb. It's gonna just be called report server temp. And the credentials, service credentials, you can choose Windows credentials, SQL credentials, or service credentials. So depending on which ones you want to use to create the whole database, I'm just gonna go with the default ones. There should be fine to create everything. Of course, you can change them to the ones that you used when you were actually installing SQL Server. Now we're gonna go to web portal. So here I'm gonna change this. And just to, let's say, repo, I'm gonna apply. So here's just the extension name that is gonna be used. Don't worry about this. The specified URL was unexpectedly reserved. A warning. This is gonna be overwritten, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Now we have our email settings. If you want to actually configure those, you can go for it. I don't have any valid points to actually configure this. So. Execution account. If you want to specify one, you can do it. Encryption key is a very important thing. Back up your encryption keys. Of course, try to back them up into a different location. Don't back them up on the server where you're hosting your report server. Of course, I don't have any other place on the network prepared, so I will just for now export them here. Subscription settings and scale out deployment. Okay, so basically that's it. After everything, we need to restart just for the services to restart all over again. At least in my case, it's faster to restart everything than to manually restart all of the services. Okay, so once you actually restart everything, depending on what kind of processor you're hosting on the workstation, how much RAM do you have and stuff like that, it's gonna take a while for all the services to get up, so don't jump immediately into the into report server. Don't open the HTTPS immediately because it takes a little bit of time to actually kick in, so don't be surprised if you just immediately go to Edge or Firefox, try typing HTTPS SQL 443 and you have an error, because basically it takes a moment. So I'm gonna connect. And we're gonna see if it actually started or it didn't. Maybe it needs a little bit more time. We'll see. Okay, so the 80 is up. Let's try this one, and this one is up as well. Okay, so as you can see, everything is fine. Because it's of course self-signed, it's fine. Now we can actually go back here. Can go to advanced options. We can remove the port 80 because we don't need the 80 port anymore. We have HTTPS, so the same here. Go to web portal, advanced, remove it. Okay. And there we go. Might take a moment. And everything works as expected. So basically this is how it goes. So if you liked it, as always, like and subscribe, and I will see you